So yes, good morning. It feels like a little while since I've done just a fitness fragrance review because the weather's been awful. It's super windy out there today, but it is dry, so I'm going to try and give it a little bit of a go. Today, what we are reviewing is Maison Tahité's Cacao Squared or Cacao2. Now, this is a fragrance, I'm going to be honest with you. I've worn it a little bit. You can see I've gone down a tiny bit, not a lot. A little bit unsure about it. I really liked it when I first tried it in Liberty in London. But yeah, I feel like it still hasn't quite won me over yet. There's a few things I've noticed with it that maybe it's not quite as, because it's so strong in terms of scents in there. Maybe it just was so many different scents mixing together that I liked. But yeah, this one I find quite strong, quite aggressive. So I'll talk about that a little bit today, and hopefully it'll win me over and it'll get a good score. But be interested to see how it goes. There's 5 categories I rate this on. So basically, I'll do a morning workout. Essentially, the 5 categories would be price and value for money, versatility, projectional performance, compliment factor, and then longevity. I do a couple of tests in between while doing my exercise. So yeah, really interested to see how this one scores today because, as I said, it's not been my favourite so far. But it's a winter scent now, more suitable for this time of year. Hopefully it will win me over. So what I'm going to do, of course, it's not all about me anyway. It's about what I think would work for most people, and hopefully this will work for many people. That's the plan. That's what I'm hoping will happen with these scores today. Let's have a little look at the note breakdown first. I've got the note breakdown just to the side of me here, and the top note is cinnamon. The heart and middle notes is labdanum. Don't know too much about that one. And then you've got the base notes. You've got the cocoa or cacao, vanilla, cedar, vetiver, benzoin, and amber. So let's give it a little bit of a spray. That's a loud noise, wasn't it? And let's just sort of see what I can get from it. Yeah, to be honest with you, it's not going to surprise you too much. The top note here is cinnamon. And it's basically this cinnamon chocolate. It's super spicy and aggressive. Now the chocolate in this is called Cacao Squared. If anyone knows cacao, I actually have cacao powder to eat, and it's a much more sort of natural, it's less processed form of chocolate essentially. And it's a lot more bitter. It's very powdery, and this is like that sort of powdery bitter chocolate. Like if you were making a cake, a dark chocolate cake, this isn't like that sweet vanilla that you get in like a most sort of modern fragrances today. This is very much bitter chocolate. So if you like that really dark sort of chocolate with that spice of cinnamon, there's so much cinnamon in this. You'll probably like it. Now, I'm having a look at the other notes. So labdanum, resinous rich, adds a depth and sweet amber-like tone. You definitely get the amber in this. Again, I think that all leads to that sort of spicy winter warmth really about it. Maybe it adds a bit of oriental to it because it definitely has a bit of an oriental vibe. I don't get the vetiver though. There's this vetiver in it which adds an earthy green, slightly smoky. Maybe that smokiness, but I think it's actually more the cinnamon and that spiciness that's coming from it. But maybe that is adding that extra element of smokiness and makes it just really dark. But yeah, vanilla I don't get. It says softens the dark chocolate, adds warm and sweetness. I don't really get any sweetness from this. It's very much you've got to like bitter dark chocolate. There's no creaminess. It's that caramel sweetness that you kind of expect with vanilla as a note. I think it's just overtaken by that cinnamon. I really do. That cinnamon, that cacao just combined together is super strong, and I think it's just lasts that whole fragrance. I don't even think there's a real transition from the sort of top to the dry down. It just seems very linear. Anyway, let's just sort of do some other considerations before I go for my run. So yeah, it doesn't particularly matter to me, but these are the bottles that you get with Maison Tahité fragrance. I've got another one as well called Selvigny. Cheap sort of cap, to be honest with you, but the atomizer is very good. I do like the fact the bottles are linear. The lid clicks on absolutely fine. I can hold it like that. It doesn't feel like it's going to come off or anything. So yeah, it sort of feels like a quality bottle. Don't really like that neck bit to it, but again, I'm not too bothered about presentation. But a simple sticker and uniform bottles is something I do appreciate. I must admit, I like it with the Acqua di Parma. You then kind of know you're sort of buying within that same range of fragrance. So yeah, very happy with that in terms of the bottle performance. Right, so what I'm going to do now, doesn't look like it's going to rain this morning. I'm going to go for a run. And yeah, we're going to do the first 2 categories. So we're going to do price and value for money and versatility. How versatile is this fragrance? So it might be super windy. I'll try and sort of talk with the wind behind me as much as I can. But yeah, let's get on with it. Again, apologies for the wind, the cars, and my runny nose.
I'll try and talk as clear as I can, but at least the weather is a lot better than when I last did this video. I got soaked. So price / value for money for Maison Tahiti Cacao Squared. Well, first of all, I didn't know this brand when I bought it, and the price you can see online, it's around £90. That's what I spent. And you tend to get the odd discount, which can do it for about 70. So between 70 and 90 for 100ml. Now, I know some people will sort of think, I'm not spending that on a brand I don't know, which is completely understandable. I completely get that. But I said I tried it first. I wouldn't have just bought it blind buy. Do I think that's good value for money? Well, the quality of the scent, yes. I think the actual oils and stuff, you can tell it's not synthetic. In fact, it's very, very quality. You can tell the oils are really nice. My issue is it's just an overdose of cinnamon. It is super, super strong. And it makes it not very complex. It becomes quite linear. You know, as I was saying earlier on in the night breakdowns, you kind of just detect that strong cinnamon all the way through. It's just a spicy chocolate, which again, if you know you like that and you really like that bitter chocolate smell, it's of course great value for money. But I think it lacks a bit of complexity because of that. There's some brilliant notes in there, vetiver, cedar. I just wish they brought them to the front a bit more vanilla and maybe just made it that little bit more complex, a little bit more creamy, you know, a bit more resinous even. It does say it's resinous, but I'm not really getting that too much. I just think they just needed to tone that down, and that maybe would have brought out some of those extra notes that you've got in it. And I do think the name will matter for some people. As I said, when someone says, what are you wearing? I'm wearing a Maison Tahiti, or I'm wearing a Dior or a Gucci or Prada. I think it does matter to some people, so that might play a part in terms of making it a little bit too pricey. And it doesn't have any different bottles other than 100ml. Now, I feel with this fragrance, one of the reasons I do think it's a little bit pricey, maybe I have a bit of an issue with it, is I feel like once I've got to the end of this bottle, into the wind now, I feel like I'm going to be so sick of it. Whereas if I had a 30ml bottle of it, I probably wouldn't mind it as much, if that makes sense. Because I just think I'd have that feeling of, oh, okay, at least I've got, you know, I don't have to sort of get through it because I'm sick of it by now. I think I'd just be about right with it. But it's one of them where I think it's just gone a little bit over the top on the cinnamon. But if you look at their fragrances, if anyone hasn't seen them, they do tend to focus around a certain note, whether it's vanilla. I think they do one called Velvet Coffee, where they focus on coffee. They almost do 2 to 3 fragrances, you know, like coffee, vanilla, chocolate, and they just try and sort of change it a little bit as well. So maybe that's just their sort of marketing, and maybe that's the route they want to go. But I think people are going to find it quite expensive and obnoxious for that. I'm certainly not want a bottle that size. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It smells quality. It certainly smells good value for money and not cheap. But yeah, just those little unknowns about it and slightly aggressive notes might just make it too much for some. Right, on to versatility. Okay then, so versatility. So how adaptable is this to different seasons, different ages, dress up, dress down, all those sort of things? Well, let's start with the seasons. This for me is just purely winter. It is so strong, and it's something you'd wear outdoors or in like a big social gathering, like in a cinema or a big room. You wouldn't want this in a close confined space. And that's really where all I see. I don't even think it's a full fragrance. It's just so strong and in your face and brash. That's probably the best word I can describe it. And for that reason, I don't think it's very much someone, you know, younger would really want this. It's very sort of bitter chocolate. You've got to like bitter chocolate. If you like that, you could definitely wear it, you know, male or female, definitely unisex in that sense. But it does lean more masculine. I think that smokiness that you get from maybe that vetiver certainly kicks through. But you're not going to wear this in any sort of situation, even if you do like that, in like the gym or an office, because I just think it's going to be quite sort of offensive to a lot of people's noses, that's for sure. But yeah, I think the lack of sweetness is something that's going to cost it in versatility. You know, a younger person isn't going to like it, and even someone who's just getting into fragrances who wants to spend a bit more, I wouldn't start with this one. I'd start with Greedy Chocolate by Montel if you want that sort of vibe, because it's a little bit more toned down. But it is more like that baking chocolate smell. But yeah, I think it's quite rough around the edges. So again, even though I'm saying it's not suitable for younger persons, I reckon it's a sort of 25 to 40. I don't think it's refined enough again for someone who's like sort of 60 and up. You know, I always think those people who sort of dress really well, who are a little bit older, quite like those more sort of leather notes, woody notes, you know, even boozy notes. And I just think this one is still quite, you know, I don't really think of it when I'm sort of thinking of like, you know, dressing up things. I wouldn't necessarily think of wearing chocolate fragrances. So I think it really lacks versatility. I think even for ages, seasons and occasions, it doesn't have enough versatility that I can really give a high score for this. So I'm going to give it, and it sounds really harsh, a 4 out of 10. I just think the only time I'd really want to wear this myself is outdoors or a night out where I just really want to get my fragrance to smell stronger than everyone else's. But I think other occasions, I think it would be quite offensive to other people, just a bit strong. So yeah, that's the score, 4 out of 10. We've actually got sunshine. We're not used to this sunshine recently. Oh, it's much, much better.
Okay, so we are back. 12.5 miles done there, so I'm very happy. And yeah, I've come back dry. So I'm going to do 10 sprays to this to sort of test projection. Now, see how much it fills up my room. So yeah, I've done 10 sprays. What I'm going to do then, if you haven't seen this before, I feel like a broken record saying this, go downstairs, I'm going to have a cup of tea. When I come back up in 10 minutes, we'll see how much this fragrance has filled the room. But I'm going to talk about how it performed during my run today. Spoiler alert, you probably knew this. It was pretty strong. Being a bit boring today, just green tea. So, performance or projection during my run. How can I describe it? Well, I've done quite a few of these fitness fragrance reviews now, and this is the first one where I've had a run where the fragrance, because it's so heavy, this is heavy. This is like that friend that you've got if you're doing a marathon together, who just keeps talking and talking and you don't want to talk back, but they just don't stop. This didn't leave me. This just literally, when I was running, doesn't matter. Sometimes I'd catch the sort of fragrance in the wind. This one was there the whole time. So I'd be running. 10 seconds has gone by. I've still got that scent just kicking off. So it didn't go, and it's there now. It is super strong. It's just under your nose. And as I said, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I think with this type of fragrance, it's just a little bit too much for me. But if you're going for performance, and this is what I've got to score it on, so far, this is the best one I've had in terms of all the fitness fragrance reviews. I will not be surprised if my room really smells of this. However, I will talk about compliment factor obviously next. Not everyone's mentioned this one, even when I could smell it personally. So maybe it won't fill a room. Maybe it's just one that you can really smell on you. It's really heavy, but doesn't kick off. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Anyway, let's finish this tea and then go find out. Just heading upstairs now. Oh, it's stiff today. Right, I'm nowhere near my room. My room is to the left. I can smell it from the top of the stairs here. Wow. And I don't mean weak, I mean strong. I'm just going to say it now. It's 10 out of 10. It is 10 out of 10 already. Wow, I'm just following a trail of chocolate. Right, I take back everything I said. That is super, super strong. I think it's so much it's filled the room that when I come back from the gym in about 3 hours' time, I'm going to still smell this, and it's going to probably be in my room tonight. It's that strong. This lingers, and I give that real credit. Look, this is overwhelming. You would not want this in a closed confined space in an office or in the summer or the gym, which I'm going to wear it at the gym. But I can't not appreciate it. The quality is so strong that it is sticking. It's not that, you know, when you have a strong synthetic fragrance, it burns your nostrils, that alcoholic smell. None of that with this. Amazing strength, amazing performance. Do you know what I'm going to do? Is for the first time, I'm going to give it 11 out of 10. It is so strong. If you like bitter chocolate, it's amazing. But to me, and again, I don't want to sort of knock it down again too much. It just smells like someone sort of making chocolate. I just think, again, that cinnamon overload. I'm going to keep mentioning that through the video. It's just a blast of it. It's just so much. But I can't knock it down for that. I have to give an extra point. First time I've done that. 11 out of 10 for projection and performance. Right, time to head to the gym and spray my arms quickly, and then we'll talk about complement factor. Have I had any experience with it? I think we'll just do 5 on each arm today, to be honest, because yeah, wow, it's so strong. I mean, I could spray this far away, and it's gonna just. What am I doing? Why am I sniffing my arm that close? Yeah, super strong. Right, let's get going. Okay then, so complement factor. Do I have any experience of compliments with this? Well, to be honest with you, I have worn it once or twice, I think, at work actually, just because I wanted to be noticed. And it was, I remember it was a sort of cold day, but I knew the school would be quite warm. So yeah, probably not the best idea to wear it, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't smell. And yeah, I mean, nobody mentioned it, but I noticed it the whole time. There's no two ways about it. And the only other experience I can say is just when I've worn it at home and I've just sort of said, what do you think of this one? And to be honest, the general sort of consensus, same with my feeling, is I tend to sort of spray 4 or 5 photos on my parents and brother and just say, which one's your least favourite. This one always tends to be nearer the bottom. It's just, again, a little bit too much, a bit too strong. And that's what they've tend to have found. And maybe that's probably why people hadn't mentioned it before. Again, someone will mention. What it will do is it'll get you a compliment at some point through brute force. Even if you don't want to notice it, it's basically saying, you will notice me. You will notice me. And I think in that sense, you will definitely get the odd compliment. I think other people, it's not, I said, it's never horrible, by the way. Sorry about the sun with the trees. It's never horrible. I don't want to say this is a bad phrase because it's not. It's just very aggressive. And that'll be quite a lot for some people. You wouldn't buy it for compliments because of the lack of versatility. As we normally say, those clean sort of fragrances tend to be the ones that, shower jelly, citrus ones will get the better compliments. So I'm going to say compliment factor, it will get noticed. Someone will mention it because of its strength, its performance. Let's go 6.5 out of 10. Again, it's not a real compliment getter, but it will do it through brute force. If I do bizarrely get one at the gym, which would just be my luck today, we'll bump it up to a 10, as always. And then, the score won't look too bad, will it? Let's get there. Right, workout done. To be honest, obviously I've had my sort of long sleeve on today. I couldn't smell it doing my workout, obviously didn't get any compliments. It's super strong there though, so it'd be interesting to see how strong it is after it survived the shower test. So going to quickly have a shower, then when I head back, we'll talk about longevity at the end. Okay, so we've just left the gym. It's just gone midday. Let's see how it smells. Did it survive the shower? Yes, but I have to say, not as much as I expected it to. And obviously the seagull agrees with me. Yeah, it's not actually as strong as I thought. I mean, it's certainly amazing on terms of projection, as I said. But, with those sort of dark, really sort of heavy notes, like chocolate and vetiver and, vanilla, all these things, amber, I would have maybe expected it to be a little bit stronger. It's probably about 55 to 60% as strong. Now, obviously, it's quite a warm day. I've been doing exercise and stuff. I don't think you'd need to reapply for this. If I'm being honest with you, this would be more than enough to get you through a whole day or a night out. So I'm not going to knock it down too much for that, because what I've actually used it for today is not really suitable. But yeah, just with that strength that I sort of noticed a bit earlier, I would have maybe expected just that little bit more. So what would I give it for longevity? And to be honest, that's actually kind of in line with what I've noticed before with this, because when I've worn it in a room or whatever, or gone out for a walk with my brother in the evening, I haven't particularly noticed it by the end. By an hour in, it's kind of, maybe that's just because it's so strong and you just get so used to it. So yeah, I think it's really hard. It's really tough to give a score for this one, because it's certainly not bad, but I think I've had better with some of those fruity ones lately. I'll give it a 7. I think that's fair. I said it's going to get you through a day or a night out, so don't worry about that. And that,
And when I say that, I mean obviously in the cold weather. I think in the summer this would actually wear off potentially, but yeah, don't wear it for that time of year. So what we're going to do then, head back, have some lunch, and then yeah, we'll count up all the scores and see what it got today. It's had some very mixed results, hasn't it?
We're back. So how many steps did I do this morning? 36,283, so plenty of steps, all while wearing this fragrance, Maison Tahité Cacao2. So what was the overall score it got based on those 5 rounds of price, versatility, projection, all those things? It got 34.5, which certainly isn't too bad. And as you can see, hopefully what you've got from this projection and performance of it is super strong. And that might be too much for some people, but I had to mention how heavy this fragrance is. If you like bitter chocolate smells, cinnamon heavy, spicy, slightly smoky, this will be your favourite scent. I really, really believe that. Has my opinion changed though? Because as I mentioned at the start, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Probably not. I spent quite a bit of money on this, and I don't think it adds enough complexity. I mean, the fragrance I mentioned the other day, which has got so many different notes in it, Calvin Klein Obsession, you really detect them. This is so strong on the cinnamon, as I mentioned, that I just think it overpowers what are some brilliant notes in the dry down. This isn't synthetic smells quality, don't get me wrong, the quality of the notes, brilliant. But yeah, I just think it falls down on that, and I find the versatility of it is really lacking. It's not one I think for an older person because it's quite rough around the edges. It's not sweet enough for a younger person. I just don't think those chocolate notes are ones you really dress up. And when you're spending £90 for a 100ml bottle or something that is so strong, I just think you're going to be sick of it by the end. That doesn't mean it's a bad fragrance, though. It's just personal preference. And that's why I think the score it's got, I'm really glad it didn't do too badly in the end, because that's just my opinion. It's just not really for me, being maybe more of an exercise-based person. Just someone who appreciates those vanilla notes and that extra sweetness I think it could have had. But yeah, Maison Tahité is definitely a brand worth looking at. I think their Selvanese fragrance, which I will do a fitness fragrance review of in the next week or so, it's a brilliant one. So yeah, that's certainly not going to stop me from buying them. But yeah, you'll see this on Fragrantica. They do have mixed reviews on this. But yeah, if you're really intrigued, definitely go try this one, because it does intrigue me. I constantly go back and smell it because it's just so super strong. But yeah, Maison Tahité Cacao2, 34.5 out of 50. So yeah, pretty decent. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one today. There will be more fragrance videos. Obviously, I've started my new role in a couple of days as well, so there may not be quite so many, but I'll make sure I do some sort of car fragrance videos as well soon while I'm doing my drive. So there'll be plenty of videos still to come. So yeah, hopefully you'll join me for them. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.